Yes guys, how's it going? Welcome back to a new video. We have 1 week left of the summer transfer window. Is there enough time for one more move? We will be asking this man, Mr. Adam P. How are you?
I'm good, Rob. It's great to speak to you. It's great to be out and about today. Talk about Newcastle. We've got a big week coming up against Liverpool. The window so far has been very impressive to say the least. I know fans will be a little bit disappointed from last week, but honestly, I think for how far we've come since the takeover, it's just one step at a time, but we are getting there sooner rather than later.
Yeah, we are. It's been a great summer. We'll ask for your rating of the summer window at the end, so be sure to stick around for that. We're going to look through some of the players that we've obviously brought in. We're going to talk a little bit about players that have gone out as well, and also want to talk about some of the youngsters that we've brought in too. So let's start off with players leaving the club. How have you found that? Because I think there was a big emphasis on trying to really clear the numbers a little bit going into this summer window. I think we've obviously seen Lewis going on loan, Darlow's moved, but we still have like maybe 4 or 5 names that maybe we would have thought could have left by now.
Yeah, we haven't cleared out that much, to be honest. I mean, we're sort of maximum because on the FFP we had to use that money to spend it elsewhere. So that was one sign which the club felt like was forced to make.
Yeah.
Darlow left after his loan spell last season. Lewis went out on loan. You've still got Ryan Fraser. He's just playing.
I didn't even have him written down either. So
he's just chilling, doing God knows what. You've still got Hayden. He's still here.
Yeah.
Jeff Hendrick's still here. So that's another one. We've still got these guys. That's before you even talk about the likes of Javier Manquillo, someone that was, I believe, in Spain last week. Nothing's finalised to him yet, so he's still at the club for now. I mean, we've got a big squad. We've still got a lot of players now that are going to be not in the 25-man squad, but earning money from the club regardless. So, I mean, the problem being, Rob, is that we've got big contracts on the likes of Hayden and Hendrick.
Yeah.
Nobody wants them. Nobody's going to offer the money that we're paying them. It's just, I mean, we've got no choice. We can either terminate the contract, which we're not going to do because it's going to cost more money, or you just keep them on, which unfortunately is what's happening. I mean, I think we try to get rid of Ryan Fraser, but other than that, I mean, no, still here.
That's the thing, because that's what I was going to ask you. Do you think it's been a case of Dan Ashworth, Eddie Howe, we need to bring players in, because that's the thing, there's a lot going on. We're still trying to boost the numbers in terms of who's here to help with transfers, player in, player out, loan deals, Shola Ramiobi, there's a lot going on there. Do you think it's been the case that we just have been so concentrated on bringing players in, we haven't had time for it? Or do you think we are actually working very hard to do it, but it's because of the fact that because players are being paid probably too much that they just don't want to go?
Well, I think it's a bit of both. I think, well, on the transfer side of things, we desperately need to bring some players in.
Yeah.
I think especially squad that we seen the back end of last season, it does start to build up quite a bit. I think now we've got a good core on the team. We've got everyone that we could have got in. We'll talk a bit more about it in a bit, but I still think there probably should have been that centre half in. But yeah, I kind of can't fault the club for not being able to get rid of the likes of Hayden, Hendrick. I mean, Isaac Hayden, the guy has had several injuries at Norwich last season.
Yeah.
The guy, he can't even hardly play. It's so sad to see. But I mean, I think we did try to get rid of Ryan Fraser, to my knowledge, for what I've seen on social media anyway. We tried to offload Southampton.
Yeah.
Judging by the fact that we signed Livermore and Fraser still tells me that they probably didn't want
I know,
him.
they wanted to pay more. We wanted them to pay more to take Fraser. I know, that's the thing, because it just didn't. It was linked to Celtic as well. That's the thing. It's been one window. I think it's been very positive. It just takes a bit of time, and so does building the squad and building the youth ranks as well. That's something I wanted to ask you, Adam. We have actually seen us bring in a couple of younger players. We saw us bring in Yakuba Minter for that £7 million price tag. Garan Kowal went and found himself a new loan deal. And slightly under the radar, Heffernan, the youngster from AC Milan, came over to Newcastle not too long ago as well. So what's been your thoughts on kind of Dan Ashworth, Eddie Howe, also not just bringing in the big names that we'll talk about in a moment, but maybe some of the more under the radar signings as well?
Well, Newcastle does have to build up that youth squad. We need it because under UEFA laws, for example, we need club trained players, we need homegrown talent. I mean, to be honest, you look at pre-season America, you look at how our youngsters have been playing. I've been quite impressed by a good amount of them, to be honest. I don't know where it came from. I know, like, Lewis Murray all of a sudden. He played against Chelsea.
Really good.
With it. Enzo Fernandez, a £100 million player, like it was nothing. We have got some real good players, but it's also important as well that we can get as much in as possible. We need a good youth squad. We need these players to develop and either come to our squad. Worst case scenario, let's say they're not good enough to play for Newcastle, you can then sell them for profit elsewhere, which will help us on the financial fair play. So it is actually quite important we get them going. For Newcastle, it's just someone that over the next couple of years we just need to build that youth squad, make sure that some players can get into the 25-man squad. For example, you got a guy like Paul Dummett, someone that I think probably isn't good enough to be in the squad, to be honest with you, due to the fact that the youth players are just, most of them probably don't have that opportunity to kind of get into a Champions League squad. Dummett's there, if we need him, he's there, but he's just not there to actually fill in the UEFA lows, to be honest. So it's definitely a thing for Newcastle where you would need to ideally long-term build up that youth squad, but for now, unfortunately, it's just how things are going to be.
Yeah, and I think you're right. I think there's a lot of things on our list. We've obviously seen the talk about the new Adidas deal. Adam did a video yesterday, if you've not seen it already, talking about the food bank and the Adidas deal. So if you're not somehow subscribed to Adam P already, be sure to go and check him out. New training ground, new deals coming in, young players coming in, trying to bulk, you know, the women's side of the game. There's a lot going on there, and hopefully we'll get to it very soon. But what we did do a good job of this window was bring in some very talented players. Before we get into that, I just want to give a quick shout out to my newest Patreons. We are now up to a total of 4 Patreons, which is amazing. If you want to see a little bit more of Adam and me chatting, we did a bit of off-camera chat earlier, which I think I'm going to stick over as a bit of behind the scenes on my Patreon as well. So it's £5 a month to sponsor. It keeps me and Adam P buying the cokes during the week. But yeah, check it out. Adam, in terms of bringing in first team, big name squad players, let me actually ask you, if someone had said before the summer window started, that would be our 4 signings, Tonali, Barnes, Livramento, Hall, would you have said, yeah, it's hard to remember at the time, but would you have said, yeah, I'll take it?
Yes, I definitely would. Other than Livramento, I don't know much about him. I watched a decent amount of the RFA. I watched a little bit of Tonali in Champions League last season. Someone that I think for his age already has a lot of experience under the belt. Someone that's played for Italy's captain the under-21s at the Euros.
Yeah.
I mean, a real player. You've seen it his debut. I know last week things probably didn't go as well as form as expected, but honestly, long term, he's a sort of player that you're going to need in that midfield. Real ability, and I think someone that will take Newcastle to the next level. Hall, of course, Newcastle fan. Someone I watched a decent amount for Chelsea last year. I like him. Real aggressive player going forward that ball. I just think he's someone that, again, long term, you're looking at being our starting left back. I think it's real. Someone that's in there is going to give a real push for Dan Burn for that spot. So it's definitely going to be one that I like to see a lot more of. Harvey Barnes is class. I like Harvey Barnes a lot. I think Newcastle's always lacked that outright player that can score goals on a consistent basis. Even the likes of, say, Maxman, Hatton, Ben Arthur, all these class players we had, they never really scored that many goals. When you think about Harvey Barnes as someone consistently on a yearly basis who's going to get 10 goals plus assists every single time. Someone that, I mean, what was it, 13 goals last year on a bad Leicester City team, and a good Newcastle team, what you can do. Definitely someone I think for the money, it's a lot for a championship club, a team obviously has to sell Harvey Barnes anyway. But I don't think it's that bad for us. I think it's a good deal. I can't speak much about Livramento, but that's probably the one I've got the most question marks around, because it's a guy that's had a year-long injury before then. He had a bit of game time for Southampton, but you just think, well, 30 to 40 million pounds on him. It's a big amount of money to ask for. But listen, we had to do it in the end. Unfortunately, in this day and age, every transfer you're going to make is going to cost a load. I mean, even see Chelsea bought, like I said, £150 million get sent off his David. Every sign you make nowadays is going to cost a fortune. So it might seem like a lot, but honestly, for Newcastle, I think we'll look towards the future, and I think these signs, hopefully, there'll be that future that we've been asking for. But honestly, from what I've seen of this window, if you said at the start with the window, I'd be happy with this. Yes,
I mean, that's it. I remember having conversations with you at the start of the window. You know, how many do you reckon? Think it'll be 1? Will it be 2? Could we push for 3? You know, 4. You know, I think if you'd offered somebody 4 players at the start of the window, they would have taken it. And we've spoken a little bit about youth as well. We've kind of done a bit of a mixed bag. I think, you know, as you said, Tonali, Champions League experience, Barnes, who's a goal merchant, and then you've got 2 fullbacks who have also got youth on the side as well. So I think it is a good mix, and I do agree with the pricing as well. But that's the thing, we've spent a lot of time in previous windows where we've waited and waited to try and save that 5 million. Can we save 3 million? And I think this time round they've just gone, you know what, let's just go and do it and make sure that it's definitely done for going into the window. So you're a happy man. Out with a 4, who's your favourite buy? And well, not necessarily favourite buy. Who do you think will make the biggest impact this season?
Tonali, I think.
Yeah.
I think Newcastle's midfield, even last season, were pretty good. They got a guy like Joe Willock now, who's when he comes back, he's injured.
Yeah.
That's real ability.
And Anderson came on against Man City, and I thought looked really good as well. So we've got lots of options there now.
Oh no, it's incredible. I think Tonali is the one. I mean, he's that star saying that I think the majority of fans, even fans that aren't Newcastle fans, are went, well, you know what, this guy's a good sign for them. I think he's someone that's going to be class. I mean, him and Barnes are going to be two big ones.
Yeah, I'd agree.
The other two are young, so you probably can't expect too much from that. I mean, I know Lewis had a great season at Chelsea last year, but you definitely want to, I guess, ease off a little bit in them. I think those are players that are gradually going to come to the squad, whereas Barnes and Tonali are two key hitters coming in straight away. So I think those two are definitely the key impact stars, and I think those ones will be the two this season that I think will take us to new levels if they can perform well.
I very much hope you're right, Adam. To finish off, is there time for one more transfer? It feels like the window ends this weekend, I think, just because of the way with the bank holiday and stuff. It is actually a week tomorrow, so there is still a fair bit of time, to be fair. We're seeing deals like Hall go through within a couple of days. Is there a chance, and I think you mentioned it earlier on, like centre-back is the position people are talking about. We saw Shaw go down injured at a moment against Man City, and I'm thinking, oh God, like, do we need to act on this? Do you think we need to act? Do you think we will act? Do you think there is time for one more transfer?
Well, in terms of do I think Newcastle needs to act, ideally I would have said yes. I think for me at the start of the window, I didn't say what signs I would want, but I think I said that Newcastle, including the loan mark, I think probably should have got between 5 to 6 players. And I think if you look at our squad now, centre-back is still an area that's a big problem because, well, let's say Botman picks up a long-term injury. You've got Dan Burn coming in, then it's Lascelles, then it's Paul Nolan, so there's not much there. I think one position that like nobody's honestly talked about that much, but I think it's the right-hand side of the attack.
Yeah, no.
You've got Miggy and Murphy there. I mean, I think obviously Miggy's 1-footed. He's someone that I think some teams he plays well against, our teams are able to close it down quite easily. Murphy had a good season last year, but I mean, ability-wise, you probably wouldn't say he would start in the Champions League side with all due respect. But listen, you see the likes of Sean Longstaff last year, how quickly they can prove you wrong.
Very true.
I wouldn't want to, I guess, undermine him, but I think for Newcastle, we definitely, if we had the chance, but ideally did need 1 or 2 more in. But Newcastle's kind of went for quality over quantity, which I think is the key part. A lot of money spent, £180 million spent on 4 players. I mean, that is a serious amount of money to spend on an FFP. We've squeezed every last penny out of this club. Long term, we will be able to bring these players in, but I think for now, Newcastle got to be careful. It's what you got to remember, January transfer window, we do have to go out and spend again if we need to. So it's important for us not to kind of just dump everything on the table now and just squeeze those over the next couple of seasons. I mean, I don't think we'll do anything else.
No,
to be honest. I think we are
no
done
more.
now. I would have said utilise the loan market. We've kind of already done that because Lewis Hall is a loan sign.
Yeah.
We've done that with the centre for paying the money next season. I think in terms of loan signs, you kind of can't really squeeze an R1 out now. You probably want to wait until January just in case.
No, I agree. I do think it was one or the other. I think is the way Eddie Howe made it sound a little bit. Was it a left back? Was it a centre back? If it's a centre back, that's covering Dan Burn will play left back. If it's a left back, that's great, and then Dan Burn can cover the centre back. So that's although you would potentially have 2 left-footed centre backs if Shaw was to need a break. It is still players who can play there. I would like to see us try and move before the end of the window for that centre-back role. I just saw Shaw going down, holding his head against Man City, and just thought it's a long season and we've got a lot of games, but we will wait and see. Let's get a rating from you, Adam. Out of 10, what are you saying for the summer so far?
I give it a 9 out of 10.
9 out of 10?
I think honestly we've done more or less everything we could. In terms of the negative sides, I guess the likes of Livramento or a lot of money, but you kind of can't nitpick that too much.
Yeah.
I would have said needed to bring that centre half, and we haven't done that. Again, you can't say we've done what they could. I think it's a bit harsh to give them a down rating for that, but I think 9 out of 10 is fair. We've still got a lot of players that we kind of ideally needed to get rid of who haven't been able to do that. So I think for us it's just, we've done what we could. It was a near perfection window, but I still thought maybe in there could have been.
Yeah, no, I agree. I wrote 8/9 down. I think 8's possibly being harsh as well. I think 9 out of 10. I think that centre back would have made it a perfect 10 from me. But thank you guys for watching. As always, be sure to go and check out Adam P down in the description. As I say, he's doing daily uploads right now, and he'll be all over Europe very soon watching us play in the Champions League, so be sure to go and check him out. Thank you to the Free Trade Inn. It's not sponsored, but they've got a lovely little outside seating area here with a lovely view and background for our video, and be sure to go and check out my Patreon as well. Thanks, Adam, and I'll catch you guys later.
Cheers.